It is the 12th day of February. It is National Heart Month. And joining us this morning is Jared and Jacob from Marble City Pharmacy and Health Monday. And gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And
Happy Monday.
It is Happy Monday and Happy Heart Health Monday too, right?
Happy Heart Monday.
Yeah, and the entire month, right?
Entire month. American Heart Month.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, that's what we're talking about this morning, and a subject that we'll get to in just a minute, but kind of update us on the flu season. I was sharing with these guys about a lady in the story we had that will be coming up. $116 was going to be the cost of her medication. She was stricken with the flu. She thought it was too expensive. She didn't get the medicine. She ended up dying of symptom or complications of the flu. Man, that's so sad.
Really scary right now, and we don't try to push expensive medicine on people. We try to give people a choice, We understand that sometimes the medicine costs are too high. Right now, though, the flu is so bad. If you get the flu and you're prescribed Tamiflu, you need to do everything in your power to get that medication. Too many people have passed away. It's just too important.
Quickly, the medication you just mentioned, there's been some question about that. What is that about?
Talking about the Tamiflu?
Yeah.
Several questions. There's questions on availability for that matter in a year like this. We've been able to keep it in stock, so we're fine there. We've done a better job actually in our state than other states of having it available, so we're good there. But people question its effectiveness and its side effects. I'll be honest with you. In a year with the flu activities low, the flu strain isn't a highly dangerous strain. It's a 50-50 toss-up if you want to get it or not. It has side effects itself, nausea, dizziness, things like that with Tamiflu. And I don't want that either. And so I get it. A lot of people don't want the medicine. And at most years I go, your choice, that's perfectly understandable. This year, however, the strain is just so different.
Have you guys ever seen it this bad?
Not that I can remember, that's for sure.
Again,
yeah.
We've had years where we've had nearly this much flu activity, what they measure it as, but not where we've had this much flu activity on a strain that also happens to be extremely contagious, extremely deadly, extremely dangerous. You mix those two factors and we're having a bad
Too
year.
late to take the flu shot?
Nope.
Definitely not too late to take the flu shot. And in fact, we're not out of the woods yet, even with this flu season. You probably saw this last week, but the CDC basically said it's not going away anytime soon. And that's really unfortunate. I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. Everybody's tired of it, but it's going to be here for a little longer.
Let's talk about heart failure this morning, and a topic that has affected a lot of people down through the years, and it is a top topic this morning. Let's share about that today.
Yeah.
All right, I guess the first thing with
Definition.
heart failure is, what is it? The more commonly used name would be congestive heart failure, and it's a very simple concept. Heart failure is when your heart fails to do its job. The job of the heart, it's a muscle. Its job is to take blood, pump it out to the rest of the body. That blood contains the oxygen and nutrients that every organ in your body has to have to function. And it's the heart's job to make sure they're all there for all your organs to have. When the heart isn't doing its job properly, you have not enough oxygen and nutrients going to the rest of your body. And eventually what will happen is your kidneys aren't able to get enough of that fluid circulating to pump it all out so that you can urinate it out and start all over. You start building up fluid. That's the congestion in congestive heart failure. So it's heart not doing its job, build up of fluid in your body that leads to other organ troubles as well.
What causes heart failure?
Well, I kind of like to break it down into two different categories. There's some things that cause heart failure that are things that damage the heart. The most common thing that causes heart failure would be heart disease that leads to heart attack. And so a heart attack causes some damage to the heart, won't work properly. The other thing, if you look at category one, would be things that damage the heart. The other thing would be things that make your heart work harder. Probably the most common example of that would be high blood pressure. When you have buildup of, say, cholesterol or plaque in your veins, makes your heart pump harder. When you have some sort of valve damage or other maybe heart problem that you're born with, may make your heart work harder. And if your heart works harder over time, the muscle eventually gets weaker. It tries to enlarge itself to compensate for that, and then we get ourselves into a bad place.
The heart is a muscle, but man, it's key to life, isn't it?
It's our only option. We don't have anything else. And, you know, it's a muscle that functions like a balloon. It fills up to capacity. It squeezes it all out. That's a healthy heart. But in heart failure, again, he talked about that weakening. It gets to where either the heart stiffens and won't enlarge all the way, so there's not enough blood to squeeze out, or it weakens in that it does fill up all the way, but can't squeeze it all out. You know, and so the balloon keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and not able to pump it all out. So it just eventually gives out.
Are there signs and symptoms of heart failure?
Oh yeah, probably the most common things that we see would be people who get tired very easily, they get short of breath very easily, and those are things that we get common complaints about. But then the most what would you say, visible thing that you would see would be swelling, particularly in the ankles and the legs area. And so that swelling can become very, very, very bad. And of course, after a while, it can be painful.
Who suffers from this?
A huge number of Americans, and I wish I could remember the numbers I look up because I'm not that intelligent, I can't remember. But no, a huge
lot.
number of Americans, it is the leading cause of hospitalizations in our country. It's extremely common. 65 and over is your primary group. Males more than females. People that have had previous heart attacks, again, huge chunk of that. African American more than other races. And then again, when you get that under 65 group, it's generally people that were born with some condition they may or may not have known about. But a lot of people.
A lot of diabetics too.
Yeah.
That 65 number that you mentioned, is that because of the longevity that the person's lived with their heart, I guess?
It is. Just think about it, for example, go back to just take high blood pressure. If a person lives with high blood pressure, let's say from their 40s or 50s, the longer they go with it, the weaker the heart gets. So eventually it's going to manifest.
Are there treatments available for it?
Tons of treatments. Now, the first thing we're going to try to do with anyone with most diseases, but heart failure included and especially, is let's change some things lifestyle-wise. Let's lose some weight. Let's cut out as much salt in our diet, fats, cholesterols in our diets. Let's exercise. Let's just try to strengthen our heart. Let's stop smoking. Alcohol has a terrible effect on the heart. We got to cut out alcohol, tobacco, those sorts of things. So lifestyle changes would be the first choice. We'd rather do that before we pump a bunch of medicines in you. But we've got to treat the underlying cause, whether it's blood pressure, irregular heartbeat. We've got to do all those things. We've got to help your heart muscle. We've got to slow your heart rate. There's a lot of medicines we can use, blood pressure, rhythm, those sorts of things. And then we eventually get into using fluid pills, diuretics, to help us urinate off more of that fluid that's backing up on us.
Heart failure and heart attack, is that one and the same, or is it different?
It's not one and the same, but like I said a minute ago, heart attack is the leading cause or most common cause of heart failure. So a heart attack would be when you have trouble getting blood flow to a certain area of the heart. So if you think about coronary artery disease, you think about buildup of plaque in the arteries inside the heart. When there's buildup of plaque in the arteries inside the heart, then the blood cannot get to some specific area of the heart depending on where the blockage is. And so when that happens, that's what's called a myocardial infarction. And so that damage can happen in different parts of the heart, and we won't get into this, but there's so many different types of heart failure depending on what side of the heart, if it's the ventricle or the atrium and all that sort of thing. But so yeah, heart attack is different. A heart attack is a damage to a certain part of the heart, and then that a lot of times does then go on to manifest itself in heart failure.
Can heart failure go undetected, or are there usually signs of it?
Yes and yes. The things that lead to heart, again, when it's not a heart attack, an immediate event that immediately has damage right then to the heart, and now we have problems starting right then from now on. If it's these other causes, diabetes, hypertension, irregular heart rhythm, that leads to a weakening of my heart, it's a very gradual onset. And so I can be developing it or in the process of it for quite a long time before I'm aware. But then when the onset starts, there are definitely signs and symptoms. My sudden weight gain, that's not because of what I'm eating different or doing different, it's because I'm holding fluid. So I'll hold fluid and gain weight. My legs and ankles will swell up like balloons and they'll start to hurt. Why am I holding so much fluid? Why am I gaining so much weight? Why can I not walk from here to the car without being out of breath? When I lay down to sleep, I can't breathe. And I don't have a cold or asthma or anything. I can't breathe when I lay down. Those are the things, okay, let's go to the doctor. He's going to test all these things and we're going to find out if there's something wrong with my heart or not.
Hereditary?
Yeah, it can be, absolutely. Particularly the things that lead up to it. You know, if you have diabetes in your family, if you have high blood pressure in your family, those things are most definitely hereditary. And so, from that standpoint, yeah, absolutely.
Medications that are available to treat this today.
Yes, we're going to treat your blood pressure first, almost always. Crazy classes, we'll throw out some technical terms, ACE inhibitors, ARBs, beta blockers, anyway, all those things that help control blood pressure, help your heart do better, get more efficient. Again, we talked about diuretics, water pills, we talked about medicines that are going to control our fluid levels, so that's important too. You get worst case scenario, you get on a transplant list. I mean, this goes a long way. The heart failure is a big thing. It goes a long way. There's medicines we can give you, IV that are a bridge to keep you alive while we're waiting on a heart. We can get real serious on this. And that's a small percentage of the people that have heart failure. I don't want to focus on that this morning, but just know that we can start with simple medicines as simple as everyday, $5 blood pressure medicines, and get on up to medicines I have to have on a pump 24 hours a day on an IV in my vein that are just keeping me alive so I can get a transplant. So wide range there.
I'm assuming here that the earlier in life you get a corner on this, the better off you'll be long term.
Yeah, and not that we're trying to scare people, but Jacob made an important point. The end result of heart failure that can't be treated and can't be corrected and can't be minimized is you find yourself on a heart transplant list. And so sometimes people with heart failure end up with defibrillators, they might end up with pacemakers, and end up with things that control their heart rate if that's one of the things that's causing their problem. But making the changes in lifestyle, I don't know if we mentioned this, but illegal drugs are one of the things that damage the heart quite heavily, cocaine specifically. And so we had to get people into more healthy lifestyles, and we had to get people on the right medications. Not to get too complicated with the medications, but there are some medications that are meant to help build back unhealthy or damaged sections of the heart, in addition to just controlling the blood pressure. And so one thing we can't say is that every heart failure patient doesn't get the same mix of drugs because there are different types. But we need to stay on the lifestyle modifications, get the right medications so we don't end up on a heart transplant
You mentioned some of the sector of people that could be susceptible to this. Is it more male, female?
Much more male, and honestly, that tracks, logically when you think all these causes we've mentioned, blood pressure, all those things are more common in males than females, and so it just stands to reason that there's more common long-term effects from these in males than females. That follows logic.
So if maybe there are people watching this morning and they have recognized, hey, maybe some of the symptoms I'm suffering could be the lead-in to this, what do they need to do?
Well, you need to talk to your doctor. We get a lot of questions about this all the time. People will come in and make simple complaints like Jacob mentioned. I can't get to the mailbox without being tired. And, one thing you have to be careful with the pharmacist, you don't say, hey, you might have heart failure. You don't
That's terrible.
You don't lead in with that immediately, but our position on that is we need you to get checked out. We need you to go to your primary physician. They may need to refer you to a cardiologist to get things like a stress test. It's not something that we want to mess around with. So if you find yourself in that position with shortness of breath, the inability to exercise, you don't have any energy at all, maybe some swelling and unexpected weight gain, yeah, got to get checked out.
Do you guys sometimes just kind of unexpectedly pick up on little things that somebody might say just in passing?
Oh, absolutely.
And you say, there may be something to this.
And like he mentioned, it's our job not to terrify someone. Sure. But it is our job to get them to the right place. And so people will come in and say, like he said, I'm having trouble getting to the mailbox. Okay, the wheels are turning immediately when I hear that. But usually come in saying something, hey, I need a good vitamin for energy. Well, why?
That's right.
Because I walk to the mailbox and I'm out of breath and I just can't breathe at all. And I lay down and I can't breathe. And okay, hold on, we need to stop for let's stop talking about vitamins for just a minute. Let's get you to a doctor. We have the same issues with blood pressure, diabetes, things like that. People say things that, immediately my mind is going, okay, we have an undiagnosed disease here. I need to get this person to a physician without making them think they're going to die today and in panic. Just, you need to get this checked out. It's beyond taking a vitamin or something.
Yeah. Well, we talked about heart failure this morning. We've touched on the flu epidemic, and I'm trying to segue into a more pleasant topic, and that is Valentine's coming up this week, and I know the store is geared up for that.
Valentine's, man, I thought we were going to talk about Auburn basketball. Man. Okay, Valentine's, yeah, look, the pharmacy is decorated, the gift department is ready. Whatever you need for your sweetheart, we got it for you, including chocolate.
All right. And Auburn basketball is doing real well. Thank you guys for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Help
Thanks.
Monday. We'll continue next month here on Daybreak. More coming up.